I'm Ted Garcia. California will become the first state to eliminate bail for suspects awaiting trial and replace it with a risk assessment system under a bill signed by Governor Jerry Brown. Goes into effect next October. Joining us to talk about this and other topics, attorney, media personality, and former California Assemblyman Mike Gatto. Thank you for joining us.
It's great to be on KOGO, Ted Garcia.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mike. And break this down for us. Let's talk about this eliminating the bail system. I mean, just dismantling it. How would this work?
Well, this was something that a lot of reformers wanted really badly, which they sort of ran this campaign to eliminate bail on the theory that poor people should not have to stay in jail if they can't afford to post bail. But the problem is, I think that they replaced the bail system and the wisdom of judges and the concept of posting a bond with essentially an algorithm. So, if you remember the old Tom Cruise movie from 2002, The Minority Report,
right?
This is the Minority Report come to life.
So the people that say, look, this is going to end up putting more criminals on the street, is there any validity to that?
I think there's substantial validity to that. I talked to a number of young men who have, had a brush with the criminal justice system and who have been scared straight. And several of them will identify the moment that they knew they were in trouble when they had to turn to their grandmother or they had to turn to their parents and say, hey, listen, I got arrested and I need you to put the house up, for bond to make bail. And what that does, it's a really powerful social and familial pressure on that wrongdoer to actually, be better from now on. And, obviously you eliminate bail, you eliminate that aspect of the criminal justice system.
Now, at the same time, there's a proposed rollback of the felony murder rule. Explain that.
Oh, my gosh. So, the felony murder rule is an ancient doctrine in Anglo-American jurisprudence that says that if you embark on a felony with somebody and somebody dies, then you are responsible for murder as well. Now, it's not murder in the first degree. There's no premeditation. But, if you agree to hijack a plane and somebody passes away, well, you probably ought to be convicted for murder. If you agree to drive a getaway car and as you're driving off, the guy with the gun decides to spray gunfire into a crowd, you should be convicted for murder. Well, the state legislature did away with that this year as well. And there's a bill, I believe, sitting on the governor's desk that would eliminate the concept of felony murder. Their theory is that there's too many people behind bars who did not actually pull the trigger, who are serving time. But again, you probably want to dissuade people from participating in these highly risky acts.
Kind of sounds like we're going the other way in trying to protect the criminals and are giving them more rights instead of trying to protect the citizens.
I agree with you, and that's a point that you and I have discussed many times before, is it shouldn't have to be such a pendulum. It shouldn't have to swing like this where, for 10 years, everything is like, lock them up. Someone steals a slice of pizza, throw away the key. And then it shouldn't swing backward the other way where, oh my gosh, we have to let every criminal be out from behind bars. And I think we're in that second phase. But I'll tell you, it's really a shame because I'm concerned that, there will be a lot of people who suffer because of these changes in the law.
Well, and I know you have that personal story with these criminals, with the murder of your own father. And how long has it been now?
Well, it's been 4.5, almost 5 years. I should note that the police's main theory is that the person who murdered my father, who, by the way, still has not been caught, was a quote unquote petty criminal, somebody with no prior offenses, somebody who just did property crimes, quote unquote, breaking into cars, breaking into houses, but who decided to graduate to murder that night. And so, my family was on the receiving end of, some very, very poor luck there. But that really should, hopefully heighten this for people and make them realize that, somebody who does something dangerous, with a gun in hand, something could easily go wrong. And that's obviously the type of person that we don't want walking the street.
Absolutely true. And I want to totally switch gears now because kids just got back to school and there's discussion about school start time. What do you think of this? When should kids get to class? Should it be earlier? Should it be later? What do you think?
Well, that's a law coming out of Sacramento that I really, really like this year, and this is just from a personal perspective. I see too many school children starting school at these ungodly early hours, And, let's face it, they're zombies all day and they can't learn as well as they can. Some kids who have a longer commute to school, obviously have to wake up very early to get there at the start time. Now, I see both sides. There's a lot of parents who say, hey, wait a minute, I got to get to work. And if I can't drop off my kid, I can't get to work on time. But, look, school is supposed to be about the children. It's not supposed to be about the adults. It's just supposed to be about putting them in an environment where they can learn, and they can learn very well. And so I think starting school a little bit later is reasonable. Most schools offer daycare for the parent who needs it before they got to get to work.
Very interesting topics, and I'm sure we will speak again. Attorney, media personality, former California Assemblyman Mike Gatto joining us. And thank you so much for your time, Mike.
Thank you so much, Ted. It was great to be here.
I'm Ted Garcia, KOGO News.